Welcome back, my dear students. It's been a long time. I created a video lecture in C programming, and now, with your request, I am resuming back the video lectures. And in this video lecture, we'll be learning about the basics of functions in C programming. And to explain the concept easier, I have used the example which we have discussed in our last video, that is the conversion of miles into kilometers. So we have used the same example so that you can understand this concept of functions better. Yes, let's quickly get into the video. This is the video lecture. We are starting today the functions in C programming with an application example. Yes, now let us recall the miles to kilometer program that we discussed in video 5 and 6. And you can look at the C code which we developed, and we also compiled the C code and got the output. Now, let us imagine, in case if there is a need to convert a few more miles into kilometers, meaning, so here I have read a value of a mile, and I have converted this miles into kilometer and printed the same. Now, if there is a need to convert many parameters like this into kilometer, say mile 1 to kilometer, mile 2 to kilometer 2, say for example, mile 3 to kilometer 3. If there is a need, then how can I change this C code? Yes. Now let's see. Declare the distance in mile, declare in kilometer, get the distance 1 in mile, okay? Convert the distance 1 to kilometer, print the distance 1 to kilometer. And now I have, multiple datas of miles to be converted into kilometers. So I am reading the next distance, right? Get the distance 2 in miles, convert the distance 2 to kilometer, then print the distance in kilometer. Now I have another data, get the distance 3 in miles, convert the distance 3, print the distance, right? In case, if I assume I have to read and convert 3 distances in miles into kilometer, then obviously this is the pseudocode for the same, right? Now we'll see how. Yes, you see, these 3 lines is getting repeated, right? Get the distance 1 in miles, convert the distance 1 to kilometer, print the distance. Again, it is getting repeated if I want to read and convert another data miles, okay? And again, that same 3 lines of pseudocode is getting repeated, right? You just observe this, you'll see. Now, let us try to write the C code for the same. Yes, so here I have 3 data, 3 miles data, miles 1, miles 2, miles 3. Similarly, I have 3 kilometers, kilometer 1, kilometer 2, kilometer 3. All these miles are to be converted into kilometers, right? Now I am reading the miles 1 and then converting miles 1 into kilometer using the formula, then printing it, right? Then I am reading the miles 2, converting into kilometer and then printing it. Then I am reading miles 3, converting, printing. But because I have more number of data, I am repeating the codes again and again. So to convert this one data, I have to write 3 lines of code. And 3 data, I have to write 9 lines of code. So you just imagine if I need to convert 30 such miles into 30 equal kilometers, how many lines of code I have to write? Right? So this is one pressing problem, correct? Now, let us solve this problem by, calling that 3 lines of code whenever a conversion is needed. What are those 3 lines? Read, convert, display. Those are the 3 lines of code. Now, we just call those 3 lines whenever there is a need to convert the data. So, how can we change? Yes. Now there's a graphical block that calls the codes to convert miles to kilometer. And inside the block, right, inside the block, I have written codes to convert the miles to kilometer. Once it is done, I will again come back to my main program. And if there is a need again to call, again I will call, again I will go to this second block, convert it, and then again come back here. Now pseudocode, right? Now inside the main function in my code, I have a command to call the program which convert miles into kilometer, right? So I'm just calling the program which converts miles into kilometer, right? And I'm doing it 3 times. Now if I call the program, what happens? Yes, see here, the same code. Once we end the this routine, we again go back here and call next time, again come back here, convert, again go here, third time call, yes, come back here. Yeah, so now we have just reduced the lines of code for doing the same task repeatedly. Now this is where the function in C language is very important. Also, I see here in main function, I just call the program. I don't know what that program is going to do. I never mind it. That will be taken care by this program. So here there is an abstraction. Okay, abstraction. The implementation details are hidden here. Now for the pseudocode, we will see the C code, right? Let me first show you the main program. So the main program is not returning any data, so let it be void. So I'm just calling the function which is going to convert the miles into kilometer, right? So I have done a function call here. We'll see what is this function call and what are the syntaxes, everything later. Now just you understand the concept first, right? Convert miles to kilometer. I'm just calling that lines of code which is going to convert, and again calling it, so 3 times I have called the program. And in that program, see here, this is the conversion program in which I am going to convert miles into kilometer, and it is not going to return any data, so my function type is void here, and this is the name of the function, and this is the open parenthesis. Inside this there is nothing, meaning there is no parameter which is being passed from main function to this function. Okay, yes, so inside this function I have declared the double the miles and then integer kilometer, and user is prompted to enter the value of miles which is to be converted into kilometer, and then user will enter the data miles, and then the conversion happens and the user will be printed with the converted kilometer value. Yes, and that's the end of this function. Again it will come back to the main function. Again I am calling it, again next data, next conversion, next printing, third time again calling, again going back, getting the data, converting, and printing. So this is a simple example of how functions can be used to execute a task which is which is to be repeated more than one time. We'll compile this code and see for understanding how this code is getting executed. Okay, so now let us compile this program and see how the output is getting executed. I'm just maximizing the screen. Okay, you see the user is prompted to enter the value of miles to be converted into kilometer. Okay, so this happens inside the function which we have called. Now I am just giving a value 20. Yes, the conversion is done. The distance in kilometer, the converted value is 32. Now I have called the function 3 times, right? Now second time calling, I am entering my second mile data, 30, maybe 30.3. Yes, now I am getting the second converted data in kilometer. Now third function call, again the user is prompted to enter another value. See, distance in kilometer. Again the conversion is done, and now the program is completed. Okay, why these 3 times? Because we have called the function 3 times. Now, with this understanding, let us define what is function and what are the basics of function. Okay, yes, definition. How function is defined. A function in C is a self-contained block of code that performs a specific task. Yes, in our example, that specific task is to convert miles into kilometer. It usually takes some input called parameters, perform some processing. Yes, in our case, those inputs are miles and kilometers, and the processing is conversion. We return to the data. Function help in modular programming. Yes, where the program is divided into smaller or manageable parts. Okay, we may have, several requirements like this, the task to be repeated, and each task, the repeated task can be grouped into different functions, and that we call it as modular programming. Yes, and how the function is being declared. Yes, before using a function in main or any other function, it must be declared. Okay. How to declare a function? And here is the example. So the return type of a function is void and the name of the function. Yes. And the parenthesis where if there is any parameters to be passed can be given here with this semicolon. This is function declaration, right? And we call this function declaration as function prototype also. Okay, it can also be called as function prototype. This is the syntax for declaring a function or function prototyping. Return type of the function, return data type of the function. So if a function is going to return me integers, I'll put int, then the name of that, okay, function. So int. If the function is going to be returning characters, I'll make character, then function name, here function name. Then parameters. If that function is going to use some parameters which are passed from main function. Function is also used directly through definition without declaration before the main function. Exactly, we did this, right? We did not defined it. We did not declare it. We just directly through definition we used the function without any declaration. We did that. Okay, we'll see how we did it. See here, this is our main program. This is our main program calling the function 3 times. But before this main program, we have defined the function. This is definition without declaration. See, there is no semicolon here. We have directly defined the function and used it. Okay, this can also be done provided if this lines of code is written before this main function. Yes, definition. We have defined the function before the main program. And in the definition, if you see, this return type is void because this function, see, it is returning nothing, right? Hence, the return type is void. It returns nothing. And you see inside the parenthesis, there are no parameters because here you see in the main program, convert miles kilometer, open parenthesis, no parameter. I am not passing any parameter from main function. I have not used, of course, any parameters here in main function. So none of the parameter is being passed. So hence this parenthesis is empty and same here, no parameters are passed. Okay, so if you understand these 3, it's very easy to write any function and process the data. Okay, return type, function name, and then parenthesis. Inside the parenthesis, if there is any parameter passed from main function, it has to be entered here. Calling function which is written in the main program. Okay, and what are the benefits of using functions in C language? Yes, breaks the large program into smaller parts. Reusability. Okay, once written, a function can be reused in multiple places. We used it 3 times in our example. Reusability. Readability and maintainability. Yes, easier to read, debug and modify. Each function can be tested independently. We have used only one function. If there is a scenario that there are many tasks to be repeated, then can be tested independently if it is written as separate functions. And different functions can be developed by different programmers in a team. Yes, this happens in corporate. Okay, modular programming concept, collaboration. Yes. Yes, we come to the end of the video lecture. Thank you. In the next video, we'll be um, discussing about the usage of functions, like how a function will return a value and how to do it, and how values can be passed into functions and can be processed. Those things will, discuss in our next video. Thank you.